All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Thank you all so much for being here. Lucy, hi, how are you? I've missed you.
Struggle
Okay,
streaming. Hi, Maggie.
always struggle streaming. Okay, so for anybody new here, please allow me to introduce myself. I am Maggie. You may know me from my cooking channel. I make food and femininity content. Lucy and I have created the finishing school for the modern woman. We are two older women who are passionate about young women, and we teach them elegance, etiquette, and femininity. Actually, women of all ages. Once a week, we like to come together and give back to the community and give you all our take on a variety of topics. So, Lucy, would you please introduce yourself and let everybody know what we're talking about tonight?
Hi, I'm Lucy. I have a channel that it used to be all Spanish, but now I changed the content to be more about elegance, femininity, and issues mostly related to women plus women of a certain age. And the reason I thought about this topic was because I remember Kevin Samuels one time he said that modern women had a really were having a really hard time figuring out those signals, those choosing signals, uh, that handkerchief dropping that used to happen back in the days. And Dr. Orion Taraban, I love him from SciHacks. I love to follow him. I started following him, I think, about a year and a half ago. He's mostly, he mostly presents issues that are advocating for men, but in this time, he said this one is for the ladies, and I thought this was a perfect time to discuss this specific topic.
All right, everyone. So you heard Lucy, and I have my notes here. We'll give you all a little bit of context. As always, I have linked the episode in the description if you want to watch the whole thing. This is about a 10-minute video, and it's called How to Drop a Handkerchief. And this is about women initiating a conversation which could lead to, potentially a relationship. So Lucy and I both have marriage and long-term relationship experience, and we're both older women. I'm 48, Lucy's 57, and we're going to give you our takes. I have my notes here, but like Lucy said, this is Psych Hacks, which is a channel that is new to me. I know we have several people in the community that watch him. He is an actual psychologist. I am not, but he makes kind of men-centric content, and he also does consultations with men and women, and that is what led him to this topic. So if you all watch the video, he starts off by saying that there have been several women that have booked sessions with him because they want relationship, but there's this theme, or there's this fear that men don't approach, or the kind of men that they're interested in don't reach out to them. And he found himself asking these women, how do you let them know that you're interested? And the response was, we don't. And like Lucy said, I think it's fascinating. I'm going to give you all a little, background, and then we'll go into this. I remember Lucy and I both have a connection to the late, great Kevin Samuels, and he used to talk about women being socially awkward. And we give it to you straight here. If you believe, excuse me, if you believe in traditional relationships, I know people do whatever they want to, but I really think there are just some ways that men and women just used to naturally communicate that has kind of become maybe a lost art. And we're going to talk about that now. So he started off the episode by saying, it has been over time that women were the ones to first let a man know that they were interested. And how did they do that? Because I know we have a lot of young people here. And I think he said, like, back in the 1800s or whatever, when women actually used to carry, cloth handkerchiefs, they would walk past a man that they found attractive, and then they would drop conveniently their handkerchief. And of course, being a gentleman, he would rush to pick it up and then bring it back to her so she could say, "Oh, thank you so much." And so the conversation begins. Now, I've never dropped a handkerchief, but I have let a man know that I was interested in a conversation with him. So I'm going to start with that. Lucy, have you ever either dropped a handkerchief, or how did you or would you let a man know that you were interested?
It's funny you ask. I have this banner that goes up and down. It doesn't allow me to click on the microphone right away. So anyway, it's interesting that you asked, because I asked my husband. I said, "Remember when we first met?" And you know that I think I've mentioned to you before that my husband does not like those questions, because it's like, am I being set up or whatever? So he goes, "Yeah." I said, "What made you approach me? What gave you that hint that you could approach me?" He said, "Every time I would look at you, you would smile." That's all it took. So, and I remember the first time, I think I told you before, I had my eye on him, but the first time that we really locked eyes was he was coming up the stairs and I was going to another meeting room. And as he was coming up, I was up on the, going on my way to the meeting room. I looked at him, I smiled, and he just stood there down there and he just smiled back at me. And it was that kind of Dr. Taraban talks about that 3 second kind of like gaze. And that's all it takes for a woman to say, "Yeah, I like you." And he looks at me, "Yeah, I like you. Next time, maybe it'll take us somewhere else." So again, it was just, it just gave me just this topic, just gave me chills, because I just remember exactly how we met and how our relationship started just building up from that one look.
Absolutely. So for me, I've shared with you all post-divorce, I reconnected with someone from my past, and I remember I am an extrovert. I have to try not to smile. I have this big toothy smile. My man says I smile like an emoji. I smile at everybody. And sometimes that can kind of make people think, "Oh, she's interested. I'm just being friendly." So we'll talk about this for the extroverts amongst us and the introverts amongst us, because Lucy and I teach ladies. I also do coaching and consults. And I've had to tell several women, you need to try and be more open, because you have this look on your face that says, "Leave me alone." But on the inside, you really wish someone would come talk to you. And Rodney says it here, men are not mind readers. So I'm always going to say, I feel like a lot of what we talk about should be or was common sense back in the day. But if you don't know how to gently flirt with a man, that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, why is this important, ladies? And I think the culture, I know a lot of people say, okay, times have changed, cultural norms are different. Times have changed, but men and women haven't, if you ask me, at least at our core. So we talked about the history, and forgive me for looking down. I'm looking at my clips, y'all. We talked about the history of women letting a man know that they were interested. So Dr. Taraban said something in this clip. It's not directly, you don't want to be that creepy person or someone like me that's like, "Hi, I'm Maggie." And not everybody's ready for that, right? There is a way, ladies, indirectly, that you can subtly and, dare I say, elegantly, let a man know that you are open for conversation. He called it a pretext for interaction. Because if you think about it from the man's perspective, and to me, this is fascinating. And ladies, we have asked for this. We are here now in modern times. You get what you ask for. There's something called the right to be left alone. And I have heard women talk about this. And I've heard women complain that if I'm having lunch by myself or if I'm out with my girlfriends, I don't always want to be bothered. I get it. Me, I never met a stranger. I'll talk to anybody. But because there's this inherent right to be left alone, you have to welcome someone in to your space and let them know, if you initiate a conversation with me, I will engage with you in conversation. So it's those little subtle things that let somebody know you're not going to shoo them away. And unfortunately for men, not only is there rejection, which if you're an elegant lady, there's still a way to exit with grace, but now women make a sport out of almost insulting and shaming men for trying. They get fun out of it. A man has to be very careful about approaching a woman because all it takes is for us to say, I'm uncomfortable. I feel threatened. He was creepy. He was looking at me. And a man can lose his livelihood and his reputation. We have seen this in the news. So I want you to step out of yourself and your own fears and think about what the man has to risk by not knowing if this is a safe space. So I'll pause there. And Lucy, what would you add to either the right to be left alone or the context that we're in today?
I love that you mentioned that the right to be left alone. I think that there's a limit to say if you're looking for someone to love or to love you, that right to be left alone um, should apply only in very limited areas. If you close yourself up, people are going to leave you alone. And then you're going to go home and say, nobody approached me. That's because you don't have that welcoming, just aura. You know, when a feminine, elegant woman is out there, men see that happiness that radiates from within. And I can give you my husband's example. He said, you always looked happy. And men want that feminine just feeling that when you're going to be with him, you're just going to be enjoying life around him, with him, along with him. So again, yeah, there is absolutely, you have the right to be left alone, but then again, if you're searching for that special one, that right to be left alone should be limited. Only, if you're going in a dark alley or, I don't know, in different places, there's a time and a place for everything. When you're walking around life, in the day and just looking at people in the eye and being uh, grateful of the life you live, I promise you that men are going to approach you. The right men are going to come to you because you're going to have that welcoming, just look that people are not going to be fearful that you're going to reject them, because being rejected is a horrible thing. And if you put yourself in the shoes of a man, do you imagine how many times a man gets rejected when maybe he thinks that somebody's giving him those right signs and it winds up not being the right sign? So again, just walk around life as if it's a brand new day, and you're grateful for everything that you are given in life, and men will approach you. I promise you, as an introvert, I promise you it happens.
Absolutely, it happens. And I want to park here. I love the comments that are coming in. Inspired One says sometimes past trauma results in people resentful being asked to smile. Okay, then don't complain. As we say, you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. If whatever you've got going on, I have heard girlfriends say, I hate to smile. Fine. Be by yourself. It is okay. I am not going to fight you. I love what Lisa says here. Kindness shows safety. So we'll do a little bit of teaching here. Ladies, one of the things that I've learned on my elegance journey, a lot of these things are from how we have developed over hundreds and thousands of years. So human beings have developed a sense of being able to scan somebody really quickly and determine if this person is friend or foe. Because if someone is coming across the horizon from another village, are they coming in peace? What does Rodney say? A man wants a woman who will be his peace. Are they coming in peace? Or are they coming and I need to defend myself? So if you want to have the type of interaction that people want to be around you, it's going to cost you something. I don't think a smile costs that much, but if it's too much for you, fine. Be by yourself. The other thing, and what I tell the ladies, Lucy brought up a good point, if you are single and don't want to be, you're going to have to work. You cannot go out here lazy and just expect people are going to read your mind and they're just going to say, "Oh, you look really crunchy and grumpy today, but I know there's a sweetheart in there." Why bother? They're not going to do that. So I tell my introverts when I coach with them, look, you're going to have to fix that face. Now you're going to have to go out. You're going to have to be social. And I do understand for introverts, this is kind of like the last thing they want to do. But what I tell them is it's not forever. Once you find your guy or once your guy finds you, you can withdraw out of society into the comfort of your little bubble. But while you are trying to connect with people, you're going to have to come up out of yourself, come up out of that phone, make eye contact and smile. One of the reasons I smile at people is because they smile back. And I've worked on this. I am a natural smiler, but I remember, I mean, you all know I cook and I'm silly in the kitchen. I remember one of my first streams, I was like, "What's everybody cooking today?" And some of the men were like, "We're not cooking anything. We're just here to watch you." And I was like, I never thought about that. I really thought people who also like to cook would be watching me. But everybody likes being in an environment that is warm and welcoming. So think about it, do whatever you want to, but there's some real science that goes behind it. All right. Yes, Rodney says connection takes effort and gratitude is an attitude. Oh my goodness, that's a whole series in itself. Being grateful for everything will make you look for things to be joyful about. I promise you, ladies, it works. All right, so we talked about the right to be left alone. We talked about the context for today. And I love what Lucy said about men being nervous. And I'm a boy mom, two boys, teenagers. And I hope it's okay to say this, but they've already had their first little girlfriend experiences and little heartbreak and whatever. And so when I think about it, yes, it's puppy love, but I'm like, by the time a man approaches a woman to have a conversation, just ask your name, anything about you. Let's say he's in his 20s, 30s, 40s, or whatever. He has spent a decade or two being rejected. I'm seeing that now as the boys are having their first girlfriends or, asking out or whatever. And I'm like, wow, I never thought about it that way. But they've already done so much and been turned down so much. So the least you can do is be pleasant. And I will say this, ladies, even if it's not a love match, it could be an addition to your network. It could be a new colleague. It could be someone who knows someone who invests in your business. I don't think it's going to hurt you to just be pleasant. What would you add, Lucy?
Being a woman, empathy comes from within, and being able to say, wow, if I had a brother, a younger brother, or a son, how would I want him to be out there? And it would break my heart to see him get rejected in a mean way. Rejection is natural, it's normal, but there's a way to do it gently. And there's a way that you can make a friend out of saying, you know what, no, I'm sorry, I'm taken. And it all depends on the situation that you're in. First of all, if you're already in a relationship, you shouldn't be in an environment where you're going to have the chance that men are going to approach you thinking that you're not. That's the reason why we have also wedding rings after we get married, when to show people that we are taken, that we don't have to say, sorry, I'm taken. Now, how behavior, modern behavior has gotten out of control now, it's a little different, but I think that there is a way to gently reject a man without having, I mean, I have seen so many, people go on social media to tell people how they rejected a certain person, and that it's heartbreaking if you think about it. So again, there is a way to do it gently, and again, you can earn a friend. If you're in an environment where somebody approaches you, that guy, it could be there. If something happens, he could be the man that could protect you or to cover you in the event that things happen.
That is so true. So I'd love to hear from you all, from the ladies. I want to go into detail into what Dr. Taraban says in this episode and actually demonstrate, because it is a skill that you can learn. So I don't want any excuses of, oh, that's hard for me. Well, there's stuff that's hard for me too. All right. So if you want results, you got to do something different. But I'd love to know how you ladies flirt, how you got your man, your husbands, and I'd love to know from the men as well. You can put it in the chat, or I will drop the link. What you respond well to with ladies. Okay, so the tip that Dr. Taraban gave is eye contact. And you've heard the eyes are the window to the soul. He gave some really good science behind this. When you lock eyes with someone, we know there's a connection there, right? Because that's why we avoid people that we don't want to talk to. We go the other way when we see them. We're in a room and we're walking, with our head down, because if you see somebody, you have to acknowledge them. Okay, so if you see a man, ladies, if you're out and about, hopefully looking attractive, once my etiquette teacher will tell you, once you step out of the house, you are on display. Take that as you want to. Look crazy if you want to. So if you see a man that you're interested in, what he recommended is to look directly at him and hold it for 3 seconds. So, and you can practice this, ladies. Practice with your cell phone camera or the camera like I'm doing now. Not looking in his general direction, not kind of looking at his, brows or nose or whatever, but look directly into his eyes. Hold it for 3 seconds. And then this is the part that I love. I think it's it's very flirty. Once you have connected with him, then you look away, you turn your head, and then you look back and smile. That's it. So it's locking eyes. So we should practice together. Ladies, no one can see you. Look directly, find a spot on the wall, and hold it for 3 seconds to say, this isn't a chance connection. I'm really looking at you. If you're smiling, it's even better. And then break the look back, and smile. It may seem kind of awkward, but what that does, ladies, is it shows that you intended to see and be seen. And I think it has a little bit of sweet shyness to it. It has a little bit of coy to it. It has a little bit of flirting, which I think is just beautiful. I think we have lost the art, but that's what he said in the episode. And I think, what did he say? It was the come hither look. You all know what I'm talking about. What would you add, Lucy?
I loved also that he gave the example of if a man is looking at another man and you give him the 3 seconds there, that is a sign for fighting. So, and I love the comments because there were so many men saying, you looked at me that way and I was getting a plane to come and fight with you. So again, it's a serious thing because you can make the right connection or the wrong connection depending on the situation. So if it's a woman, man, you're interested, I'm interested, it's an amazing connection. And that's why, it's funny because when I was listening to that, I also think about, I don't have kids, but my dogs, when the dogs go to the park, if a dog looks at another dog face to face, that is a rumble. That is an immediate rumble that you just don't want to even be part of. So again, there's a reason on why you have to be, strategic about who you use those choosing signals on.
Yeah, really good context there. So, ladies, in this video, Dr. Taraban said when men look at each other and lock eyes, it is a challenge because you're basically entering into someone's personal space. And usually a man doesn't want another man in his personal space. So he gave the example that if I were at a bar and a man was just kind of looking at me, he would be like, all right, buddy, do we have a problem? Ladies, again, say we don't need men if you want to, but the world that we live in is so safe and protected to us. We would never think that looking at another man, looking at a man is going to cause a fight. So this is one of the ways where you do have an advantage. You can enter into a man's space with a glance. Now, here's the thing. There's no guarantee. You're not entitled to anything. But what that does is that tells the man, I'm interested. It tells the man, if you choose to speak to me, I'm a safe place. And it puts the ball in his court. So you're not being forward, you're not being aggressive. I don't even think you're being assertive. I think you're just being friendly. So I'll give you all a little bit more teaching on some of the things that I've had to work on, because there's a few things that us modern women sometimes can mess up with this. What are you all saying in the chat? Inspired One says, as a man, I really appreciate a woman striking up a casual remark. The weather is really nice today. Absolutely. Ladies, we talk about this in the finishing school, and oh my goodness. You all know him and you love him. Go ahead and put Thane in the chat. Oh my goodness, coming in with the $200 super chat. Thane, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Not only for this super chat, but the way you support, the way you protect our space. And I've shared with you all, I have the absolute honor of talking to Thane outside of the streams and what I have learned. And I'm so grateful. I don't take that for granted. So I'm going to put you in the banner. He says, many are terrible at flirting, but expect it. What would you add, Lucy?
Yes, and flirting, you know what? It only takes that one time that you flirt with the right man. For example, my husband. All it took was that look for him to say, "Oh, she looks like an interesting person." Of course, you're not going to be flirting with everybody around you. You have to also have that strategic choosing. You're not going to be flirting with everyone. You're going to be flirting with the man that you're truly interested that he will approach you. Again, flirting is not just playing with anybody and everyone. Flirting is a specific strategy for the man that you're interested in. If there's no return, that's fine. You flirted, okay, he didn't have to, there's many issues why he's not interested in you, and then you move on. But again, it's an acquired skill that you need to practice with the right man, with the man that you want to maybe get something in return.
Absolutely. So let me give you all a little bit more teaching here, some things that I've had to work on. In this modern world that's fast paced, we've got our devices, we work, sometimes we work outside of the home, demands, corporate America, all of these things. We move really fast. And one of the things that I've had to learn is an elegant woman is not rushed. And so I've had to really slow myself down. Sometimes I remember being in the grocery store. I was in Whole Foods, just going through my list, doing something, and I almost hit some guy with the cart, Maggie. And he said something. It was charming. It was just kind of like, look up, be careful where you're going, Miss Lady, or something like that. He said, y'all, I was on the other aisle before I realized like he had spoken to me and I needed to like stop and acknowledge him. So a lot of us can get better results if we slow down. The other thing that Lucy said about being interesting when a man comes to talk to you, ladies, you have to have a life outside of whatever your work and go to home. I mean, work and come home, or work and go to church, or whatever you do, that's fine. But you want to live an interesting life, because that makes it easy to strike up a conversation about your hobbies. I talk to too many women. I know we like to make fun of men that are incels, and I don't do the name calling, but I'm gonna be very honest with you. Some of the women that I talk to, like you don't really have anything that would spark a conversation. You just expect to be selected. That's not how it works. You've got to live a life that you're passionate about in, a respectable way, of course, and then you have something to talk about. So slowing down. And then the other thing, work that I've done, like I said, I am a natural smiler, but we all have a, I won't even call it a serious face, but you know the face you make when your face is just completely like relaxed. You know, maybe you're listening to something. I work on softening my, I'll just call it my straight face. Because if you just let all your muscles go, you'll catch yourself in a Zoom meeting or somewhere just, and I've had to coach ladies, you don't realize how you show up because we know the men are always watching. And you can do this by recording yourself on your phone. You don't have to share it with anyone. And then I've practiced a soft smile. So instead of the straight face, not the full toothy smile that I do, but just a little bit of softness in the face, it does wonders for people to feel like you're approachable. And one of the things that I do to practice, because I used to kind of just move like a bull in the china shop. You know, I go to this coffee shop every day. You know, you place it in advance. So you just go in, grab your coffee. You don't say anything to anybody. I would pull up, get out of the car, slam the door hard, go in, you know, just grab my coffee and then come back. And I make this my daily routine to remind myself to stop, swing my knees out, stand up like a lady, fix my posture, walk in, and I stop at the door and just take a beat. Just look left and right. I'm not looking at anybody in particular, but I'm coming up out of whatever I'm doing. And if I catch eyes with somebody, oh, hello, good morning, Miss Brown, hello. And I get my coffee and, you know, sometimes they'll make a compliment or sometimes not, but it's just a practice. So I'm just sharing with you all. These are things that I've had to learn, and these are things that I still continue to practice, because if you just let it go and you don't put any effort into it, you will be surprised at how you show up. And then you'll be wondering why, man, nobody comes to talk to me. There's a reason. What would you add, Lucy?
I agree. Having that soft, approachable, just feminine way of doing things. You know, I think about when I go around, when I go to Costco, when my husband can't come with me. There are times where there's been times where I'm loading the stuff in the trunk, and just because I'm doing that, a man sees you with that just normal feminine face, and I promise you, they will ask you, "Do you need any help?" And 9 out of 10 times, I will have somebody ask me if I need help. So again, just because a man asks you if you need help doesn't mean that they're going to come and do something to you. Because I think that modern women have been, for whatever reason, trained that every single man has nefarious things to do to you. Most of the men that approach you, I promise you, are just looking to help you because you're a woman, because you're feminine, because they want to be your hero at any little thing that they want to help you, even if they have nothing to do with you. If you have that friendly, smiling, life is good face, the world will respond accordingly. And if you're looking for that specific, your significant other, that is just, another way that the man that is watching you is going to say, she looks interesting. She looks happy. Maybe it would be nice to give her, say hello to her. And, you respond, and that's where the conversation starts.
Absolutely. And I want to touch on the response too, ladies. I saw Rodney had a comment in there about the gratitude. If a man offers to help you, I would say accept it, because as women, men lead, we receive. A lot of women have closed themselves off. No, I got it myself. No, I can do it myself. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm old and I'm Southern, but Lucy is absolutely right. A gentleman, when he sees a lady, that is the assumption here. You are showing up as a lady. So if you are not getting lady treatment, it's because the men don't see you as a lady. Ladies, I'm telling you, nobody is really thinking about you that much that it's like, oh, I want to do her harm. Men have so many other things on their plate. They are not, they are not really trying to risk. You know, what did Dr. Taraban say? It's risky for men for them to even offer to help. I have heard women will get offended if you offer to carry something, if you open a door for them, luggage, whatever it is. So if a man offers, whether you accept it or not, you must be grateful and you must say thank you with eye contact, not just, yeah, thanks. If someone holds the door for me, even if it's a young boy, thank you so much, or thank you so much. Take a half second to make that connection. We talked about that with eye contact, and say thank you. It shows that gratitude, and it's that feminine side, like Lucy said, that we actually care. We are not supposed to be like the men. They don't want somebody that's just like them. They want that soft place to fall. And I will say, even if it's not their woman, I mean, we know when boundaries are crossed, but a man really appreciates a woman who enjoys being a woman. We can set the temperature in the room. We can make people feel welcome. We can do so much, ladies. Stop trying to compete with the men and use your, I'll say, feminine superpower. So eye contact and gratitude, even if it's not a love match, it definitely goes a long way in helping you, because Lucy's right. Men do want to be our heroes and be helpful and appreciated for it. The other thing that Dr. Taraban said in this episode is, if you make that eye contact and for whatever reason, the man doesn't reciprocate, you haven't lost anything. It was just, if you feel like, oh, that's too forward, just being gracious, that smile doesn't cost you anything. Maybe you were just wishing him a good day. Or ladies, you can learn to compliment men. Men never hear that they are appreciated. They don't hear, you look nice today. That's a nice color on you. That's a nice tie on you. I don't understand why that's so difficult. We love receiving compliments. We fish for compliments, if we're being honest. Isn't that right, Thane? You all know we do that. Do I look pretty? Do I look this? Do I look that? Give a man a compliment. It goes a long way. If for whatever reason he doesn't reciprocate, if you need something to say, in this episode, Dr. Terabin said, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were someone else. So he called it plausible deniability, which means you're not on the hook for anything. You're not obligated to anything. If you need to, exit with grace for any reason, there's a way to do that and still keep your elegance. What would you say, Lucy?
Thank you, Thane, for the additional super chat. A woman that can effortlessly quit gets my undivided attention. I have retorts for that. Thane. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure that it means something. It's a wise comment. I don't know if he's going back and forth in the chat or not. So yes, I think that you don't have to. I mean, if you don't get the same feeling after you've given him the signs and he approaches you, you can exit out, also in a gentle way. Now, as I think Rodney wrote, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Exactly. It was one of those chances. Maybe it didn't work out. Okay, life goes on.
Absolutely. So I had to look that up. So the definition of quip, now I understand why he said it. And first of all, Thane, thank you so much. $300. I'm just beyond words. We are incredibly grateful. Thank you. So I looked up the definition of quip, and it is a clever, usually taunting remark. Now, ladies, men know this about us because we can't overpower them. We're not stronger than them. I don't even know why women think they want to challenge a man. But what we try to use, because we can't physically overpower a man, is our mouth. And some of you all, you got to get that last word in. You got to get that dig in. You have to have that little slick lip. You've got to cut down or insult or do one of those like backhanded compliments where it was like a LOL or a haha or a joke. You meant exactly what you said. Men are not stupid. And so Thane is saying a woman that can effortlessly quip with a clever and taunting remark gets my undivided attention. I have retorts for that. And we talked about this, I can't remember, maybe it was in the Wives Club, but ladies, men remember, and men have something that we don't, which is patience. And I said this before, sometimes it bears repeating. You're not getting away with anything. If you slight a man, even if he doesn't respond to it right now, he remembers. And that hammer will swing up. Everybody has a limit. And when that hammer swings down, sometimes you thought you were getting away with it, or you've pushed those buttons, or you've done that little test, and he didn't do anything right then because he was keeping masculine frame, or he was just like, maybe she's having a bad day. As Thane would say, you can't unring that bell. So the way I was raised, we were taught if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything. There's nothing wrong with a simple please, a simple thank you, a simple no thank you. I'm flattered, but I'm not available. There's so many elegant ways to exit with grace. Karma goes around, ladies, and there's nothing like regret when you could have handled something better and you chose that momentary satisfaction of making someone feel small so you felt bigger. I promise you, it'll eat away at you because karma will come back around and you will regret it. And men can be ruthless, especially the caliber of men that we all want. They don't tolerate disrespect because they don't have to. Be careful because men talk and your reputation is everything. What would you add, Lucy?
I loved learning something today. Quip. So effortlessly quip. And I, again, when I asked my husband, what is it that made you, start a conversation with me or continue our relationship? And he said that on our conversations, it was a kind of like a good back and forth with, witty kind of back and forth, playing with words and intelligent man, which my husband is just, I love his brain is amazing. They love to have that quick back and forth banter because it's just, it's I don't know. It does something to them. And that is something that, as ladies, especially introverts, I think that we have it. We write better than we speak. But if you start practicing what you write, when you start talking to the men that you're interested with, that back and forth becomes kind of like a sport, and it can becomes fun, and it's exciting, and your butterflies start going because he got me there, I got him there. But it's got to be it can't be something about hurting each other. It's got to be something fun and just witty. And again, like Maggie said, karma doesn't forget an address. It will always come. Whatever you give comes back to you. So why not give the best and the happiest and the elegance and the femininity, because that will return you a good man.
Oh my goodness, I'm loving the comments in the chat. So we're going to come see what you all say. That was our takeaways from Dr. Taraban, but so many life applications here. Hopefully this is helpful, ladies. Ladies, there's no like right answer, like, you're going to score 100 on a test. I remember my guy, I walked right up to him and I was like, hi, I'm Margaret. And he was just kind of like, who does that? And I just stood there, weirdo. But like, I just get excited. I know, like, I'm not fast on my feet. I will lose every time in a verbal debate, but I am very like caring and considerate and nurturing and giving. And so like I like to care for, and I made this for you, or I got this for you. We all have something different. There's ways to show affection, and that is a very feminine quality. Aaron Laura says it can be tough to go back and forth quickly, so it's a great sign your personalities are on the same page. Absolutely, ladies, and we should be studying the men. We should be studying the men that we're interested in. Rodney says intelligent women are attractive if conducted in a feminine way. I absolutely love this. Ladies, so many of you all lead with these big degrees on the wall. I got a couple of them too, but believe me, you want to be smart more than you're educated, and you want to use those smarts in a way that fosters the relationship. Because even if you've got more letters behind your name, I guarantee you in the real world, a man is going to run circles around you. Clue Channel says Margaret is a lady's name. Yeah, Margaret is my name. Maggie is my childhood nickname. Clue Channel says when you talk to 4 a.m. like it's normal, have we done that since high school? Some of us got to go to work, but I know, like, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. Condemned says eye contact is a common flirt, but can be misinterpreted if you're not the man she's interested in. A more direct form of flirt I've received is when she makes up a reason to get close to me. Hi, I'm Margaret. Yes, ladies, absolutely. You have so many tools in your tool belt. Don't be lazy. Don't expect anybody to read your mind. I think these are things that we've lost in the modern world. I think these are things that I'll say a lot of modern women may look down on and say, I'm not doing that. I shouldn't have to do that. Yes, you should. You absolutely should put some effort into it because you're expecting him to put a lot more effort into it. So find what works for you and practice baby steps when you're out and about. If you're always head down, intentionally look up. If you always have a straight face, intentionally have a soft smile. If you just blow by people without speaking, take a moment just to say good morning. How are you? Thank you for helping me. Little things like that go a long way. Clue Channel says we're still kids. 4 in the morning. What would you add, Lucy?
And put those phones down. When you go out there, stop looking at your phone all the time because that's all you see. It's people on their phones. You miss so much. First of all, as women, you should have situational awareness. First of all, your eyes should always be around just because, you need to be aware of your surroundings. And then, if you're on the phone, people are going to see, oh, she's busy. Men are going to say, yeah, she's always busy. She's always on the phone. She probably has, is talking to the husband or the boyfriend. Put your phone away unless it's something, it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, you go to a corner, on the mall, you talk to them and then put it away and walk around. Look at the beauty of just things. Look at the weather, the sun, a little flower that for me is just looking at, sometimes I look at the ground and you see the moss growing in like really particular ways. It's nature is incredible and you just enjoy it because you know what? Why not? So again, put away your phones when you're going out there because that's the only way that you're going to have those opportunities to look at people in the face, smile, and just live real life. Because again, we're so much into this social media thing and our PCs and our computers that it doesn't pay. It pays to go out there and experience breathing, talking to people, saying hello to people, just doing normal people things. Technology has made our world so easy, but it has also given us, has not allowed us to continue life outside of this all electronic world that we've made in our homes.
Absolutely. I've dropped the link in case anybody wants to chat with us. You can be camera on or camera off. We'll go about 10 more minutes. But I love that. Now, look, we are obviously on social media, and so we can use social media as a tool. But the key to what Lucy said is when you're out and about. Ladies, we talked about this. If you're single and don't want to be, then you need to be open to having connections with other people. Even if it's another woman you don't know, she may have a brother, a coworker. If you are just in your own little bubble, you will stay like that And then a year will turn into 5 years, will turn into 10 years. I cannot tell you how many women I talk to and they say, I never thought I would get to this age and be single, no kids, whatever it is. Um, the other thing we were talking about, oh, the devices. Here's some tips, ladies. This is what I've learned. Of course, we have smartphones. It's part of all of our lives now. But when you're out and about, a book is a lot more intriguing. So have a book, have a magazine, even if it's like a travel magazine, a fashion magazine. But if you're sitting, let's say in a coffee shop or whatever, and you're just waiting on somebody or, hoping to strike a conversation with somebody, have an actual book. Looks more I would say, I almost want to say engaging because it's a conversation starter. What have you read lately? Oh, that's a travel magazine. Have you ever been to France? When you're in your devices, it shuts people off. So that's something easy that you can do. Keep a book or a magazine with you. Clue Channel says, I miss the time between the first phone and this phone. Yeah, absolutely. People are in relationships with their phones, and the phone is not what you want. Absolutely. And connection. Kevin Samuels used to say that we are better together, and there's a real world out there. There's a whole life out there, and so many people just blow right past it because they're not taking time to appreciate. And what Lucy said about appreciating life around you, that is a very feminine quality. We should see the beauty in things. This is what we teach the ladies. We love our men. They are wonderful thinkers, wonderful builders, providers, protectors, all of that. But let my man tell you, if men had it their way, we would still be standing around a fire eating meat on a stick. But all of the beautiful, like, comforts is because women appreciate these things and men love us. So they build this world so that we will appreciate it. So when you see something nice, especially if it's something simple, a flower, a sunset, a rainbow, a beautiful plate, anything. Those are things also that show that human connection, that you have that empathy, that you are aware of life around you, and you're not just kind of like, yeah, whatever, that's fine, can I have the new pair of shoes? No, take time to really live life through all of your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you feel? What do you taste? All of that shows up as a feminine quality and something that is endearing. I think men really, they not only want to love us, but dare I say, they like women. They're drawn to women. And this is something that, like my man will tell you, you're already feminine, ladies. You just have to stop fighting it. And the last thing that I'll say, because I had to tell someone in consults this, ladies, my man will tell you, you don't go from zero to wife. A lot of ladies just want to be discovered and you're marrying me tomorrow. You will fumble the bag every time. You've got to master these soft skills. You've got to be able to have a conversation. You've got to see, do we like each other? Are we, do we have good conversation? Do we enjoy just being together and doing nothing? You've got to make it to girlfriend stage first. And then you've got to be a good girlfriend consistently over time. Men are always going to be more patient than us. Then once you have completed that hurdle, then in his own time, after a man has vetted you and seen what he needs to see consistently, only then will he start thinking about, you know what? I really could do this for the rest of my life, because that's how a man is looking at it. He's not just looking at it right now. We are short-term thinkers. Men are long-term thinkers. So they look at the way that we behave and they say, can I do this for the next 20, 30, 40 years? And like my man says, you don't want to be the type of woman that he says, yeah, I could live with her. You want to be the type of woman that he says, man, I can't do this without her, or I don't want to do this without her. So what would you add, Lucy?
I love that last part. I can't do this without her. It's just, again, I put my husband as an example. When we were having the meetup in Atlanta, he said that he could not go to sleep at night because he missed me next to him, because you become just so used to each other. And that's the best compliment that a man can have for you, to say, I cannot be alone without you. I cannot be without you. So again, you got to make yourself that one piece of him. I think that, the Bible talks about, we came out of the man's rib. You want to be that rib that's always there, that he's going to be missing all the time. And like Maggie said, you don't go from 0 to 100 right away. You have to show the man that you're consistent. I heard somebody, I think I saw this video saying, um, uh, a young man said, I knew she was the one because she wore that necklace every time I saw her. It showed consistency. That's the necklace that she always wore every time I saw her. And the abacus, I saw another video about the abacus. There were these kids, I'm sorry, all of these things, these ideas. I saw there's this school that teaches kids to multiply immediately, like 100 times it's 3,000, and you see them going like this. And this movement they've learned how to count with the abacus. So the movement shows that they're switching the little bubbles or the little things in the abacus to add or to multiply those numbers. Anyway, so yes, men are looking for consistency in the women that they're thinking about making them their significant other.
I love this. Thane is dropping some game, ladies. He says, learn to effortlessly compliment strangers, leaving them grinning like Cheshire cats and walk away. Oh my goodness, ladies, I'm telling you, if you've ever complimented your man or a man and just said, you know what, that's a really nice color on you, and then just go about your business. I mean, that's just the way, like we all like that, right? The way they just kind of like stand up straighter, and it's such a shot in the arm. And I love this. This is something that you could practice. Do it small. The barista that you see every day, you know what? Those frames really fit your face nicely. Something innocent, but get in the habit of practicing giving compliments. What does Rodney say? It's not who men can live with, it's who they cannot live without. So you all know I'm a jumping jelly bean, and I'm always traveling here and there and doing things for YouTube or whatever, because I'm a little bit empty nesting. The boys live with their dad. And funny, they ain't got on to me about this, but when I'm traveling, and I'm always updating my man wherever I'm going, he knows the whole agenda. But when I land back in Atlanta, I can hear it in his voice. He exhales differently knowing that I'm back home. So I got to work on that, because that means I'm bringing stress with all my jumping jelly bean. And I know it's here for a short time. There's going to be a time when he's going to say, Maggie, wrap it up, and y'all can catch the replay. But just like Lucy said, when you have that bond with them and they feel like I need you here, like I want you here, that's a good thing, ladies. They're not controlling. They're not manipulating anything. They could not care. That's an option too. But I think it's wonderful when you know that someone is emotionally invested in you. It's so beautiful. Yes, the compliments. And so all of these things that we've given you all, the eye contact, the complimenting, the full smile or the soft smile, you can smile with your eyes, the please, the thank you, some of these basic common courtesies that used to be just the way that we treated each other. Now, because it's become such a lost art, when you do them, ladies, you are going to stand out. You are going to be remembered. You are going to be that lady who always wore, that necklace, or always, put a little effort into her appearance instead of just coming out of the house looking anyway. So, yes, men want to know that we are safe. So, I have fun with this episode, Lucy. Thank you so much for putting this one together. Any final thoughts as we close out?
Of course. Thank you, Thane, and your wisdom and those super chats are incredible. And I want to thank, Dr. Taraban. I think that he offers the manly side on the psychology side, because I don't know if he's a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and he's here in San Francisco. So again, yeah, he's a California based psych person, and his topics are amazing. And I thought that this one was just a perfect reminder for those women wanting to find that special one.
Yes, absolutely. Thane, thank you so much for the generous contributions. You inspire us to keep going, and you are such it's such an honor to have you in our little piece of the internet. Thank you all for the engagement. This was fun. We're here every Wednesday. We give you some type of content that hopefully is helpful. Give a little bit of a commercial. The Etiquette Summer School for Kids enrollment is open. So if you have kids between the ages of 5 to 15 this July, Lucy and I will be teaching the boys and girls about manners, about courtesy, about conflict resolution, about boundaries, all of those things. It's $100 for the family. So if you have siblings or cousins, everybody can learn. It's a private Zoom, and you have lifetime access 4 weeks in July. And then if you want to get on the wait list for our next session of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, that will be in the fall. All of that is at teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. So yes, we will see you all Friday for the Wives Club. And thank you all so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and dismiss. Hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you on the next one.
Adios.
Goodbye.